Hi guys, Crafty Crystal here. I'm back again with another video. It's been a long time since I made one. I've worked hard on my setup and I've got some enough of an improvement that my hands mostly stay inside now. Can't help the sound much. The light sort of is behaving itself. I've got a filter over my light to try to make the light work better. Um, Sound pretty much depends on the traffic outside. So anyway, hold on a minute and I'm going to show you a better picture of this. This is on my desk. I'm going to spread it out where you can see it. Here's the shawl we're making. This is not easy. I'm holding my little can. There we go. Okay. But this is what I'm showing you how to make. And I hope you'll enjoy it. Hold on a second now and I'll be back. Okay, the yarn I used was Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo, 14 ounce, 744 yards, 681 meters, 396 grams. Um, the woman that I made this for is a little bit taller than I am. She wanted to come down so that it just ended on the inside of her elbow, or just above it. So I made it so it just touched mine, and that's 10 inches from the point of my shoulder to the inside of my elbow. The length of the back from the neck down to the tip of the tail is 30 inches. The approximate distance across the shoulders where your shoulders are going to hit in it is 17, 18 inches. Between 17 and 19. Depends on how high you pull it up on you. I did run out when I was doing the end. And I needed more. Fortunately, I had this one. But either make sure you have a little extra, or when you come down to your 38th pattern line, you're going to run out before you get done with the last side. And then you still need enough to do your bottom. Now, if you don't need it 10 inches, if you need it smaller than that, you can come up, say 9 inches, 9.5. Come up to your row 36, end there. It has to be an even number. End on 36 and put your last row in, and you'll have enough left over to make your buttons. I do make the buttons at the end. Show you how to make those. Okay, so let's get cracking. I use an eye hook, and grab your yarn, grab your hook, and let's begin. Okay, we're going to start with a magic circle. You have your palm facing you. You have your loose thread. You bring it over your palm like this. Wrap it around 2 fingers. Wrap it around 2 fingers. And hold on to the tail. Take your bead yarn, bring it around, and hold on. This gives you a little tension in here to work with. Now, when you do this the right way, you end up with a closed loop that you can draw a piece of a loop through. So this is what you do. You come up, upside down, the hook upside down, see that? And you grab this piece in back. When you pull it down, pull it up this way so it's in normal position, and now you have twisted your loop, your yarn. See there? You twisted your yarn. You have a closed loop. You can draw another loop through. And there's your slip stitch. Okay? Now, You always, when you're working with a magic circle, you always want to work with your loose end going the same direction as your hook. When you connect it this way, you'll always end up with your loose end in the right direction, okay? Now, we're going to, traffic's a little heavy today. We're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to come down for a single crochet. Now this is going to be the center back of the neck. Okay? Now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And this is the beginning of the inner edge of the neck. Now we're going to make a corner group, a granny corner group. That's 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets. So wrap, go into the circle, pull up a loop. Wrap, come through 2, come through 2. Wrap, go into the circle, come through 2, come through 2. Okay, we do this 3 times. Then we chain 2, wrap, and we're going to go back into the magic circle, and we'll do 3 more double crochets. That's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now this is a corner group. This is the center of our neck. So we're ready to close our magic circle. Now, when you're working with a double magic circle, you want to first pull on your loose end here and see which one of these gets smaller. See which one's moving? See that? This is the one you want to pull first. This is the inner circle. So we're going to pull it, pull it. See how the other one's disappearing into it? Nice and tight. Okay. Now we take the free end and we pull it. And now we can cut this off. We're not going to be able to get this undone. Whoops. Some better scissors there. Okay. There we go. Now, here's our center neck. So we're going to come down into this stitch and we're going to make another double crochet. This is going to mirror the chain 3 on the other side. So I'm going to come down into that. Make sure we have 2 strands. See the 2 strands? Through 2 and 2. And now there's the beginning of our granny, our shawl. Okay? This is the center circle. This is the double on this side. This is the double on this side. And here's our corner group. Okay. So we'll chain 3 and turn. Now, into this hole right between here and here, we're going to put another group, another granny cluster. 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And without putting a chain 1 on here, we're going to come right over here to the end and do a corner group. And every time I say corner group, it means 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. There we go. Now we're going to go right in between this cluster and the edge stitch. Do another cluster. All right, now without making a chain one, we're going to come through here and we're going to find 1, 2, 3. This is the third stitch. In the top of this third stitch, we are going to do a double crochet. I went through the back hump so I would have 2 strands. You don't have to go through the back hump, which sometimes is too tight. I just take any strand I can get. But you want 2 on the back. That'll make it stronger. So there we go. See, looking a little bit more like a granny corner, is it? Huh? 1, 2, 3, and turn. All right. We're going to put a granny cluster here between the edge stitch and the first cluster. A granny cluster here, a corner group, a granny cluster, and another edge stitch. Okay? All right. Wrap. Go into there, that space, and we make 3 double crochets. Without making a chain, we go right into the next double crochet. The next double crochet. I'm all right. We go into the next hole. Without making a stitch, we go into the end and we're going to make a corner set. So that's 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and 1, 2, and 3. And without a chain, we come right down between these 2 sets. And we make another set. There we go. Okay. Now between the edge stitch and the last cluster, we make another cluster. And we count 1, 2, 3, wrap and go down in there. Now see, this time I'm going through an edge one, but I still have 2 strands in back. There. Okay. Now we chain 1, 2, 3, and turn. Now that's 3 rows. We're going to do 2 more rows of these. So wrap. I'm going to go a little faster now. Do your first cluster. Wrap. Go right in between the next 2 clusters. If you see the camera move once in a while, it's because I've almost got my forehead up against it to try to keep my hands inside and still be able to see what I'm doing. And once in a while, my forehead hits it. Now we're coming up for a corner cluster in the end. And chain 2. Between the next 2 sets. Between the next 2 sets. And between the last set in the corner. And 1, 2, 3, 2 strands. Whoops, I didn't wrap first. Okay. And there's our edge stitch. Chain 3 and turn. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Do one more row and come back, okay? Come back and join me. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And our edge stitch. And 1, 2, 3. And turn. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, we're going to change the pattern now. Keep a close eye. We're going to start making the neck curve around that away a little bit. And we're going to change the way we make the shawl. Okay, wrap, and as normal, we're going to come in here and do a cluster of 3 double crochets. Just like that. This will never change. The whole shawl, no matter what else we do, will have this being consistent the whole way. It'll always have the edge stitch and the cluster. Everything else may change, but this will remain the same. Okay, now we come right in between these next 2 stitches, and we're going to make 2 double crochets. Not 3, 2. We could make 3, but it would make the neck curve a lot faster. I don't want it to curve any faster. Now we wrap, and we're going to do front post, back post, front post. Front post, back post, front post. Front post, back post, front post. In these 3 clusters. So first we wrap, and we come up under the first stitch, wrap over and pull a loop through, and then we finish the double crochet like normal. That's a front post double crochet. We wrap, and we're going to come up on this side of the middle, go down the other side, and pull a loop across. Okay, back post, double, just like that. Now front post, double, wrap, come right over to the next one, and we're doing another front post, double. Come up through the back, down the other side, and pull a loop across, back post, double. Sneak around the back of it, pull up a loop, front post double. Okay, now let's repeat this another time with the front post and the back post. Whoops. And the front post. Okay, now, just like we did here, we're going to do exactly the same thing on this end. We're going to make 2 double crochets. Then we're going to do a regular set in the end. Chain 2 and the other 3 double crochets. Okay, now between the next 2 sets we're going to do 2 double crochets. And then we're going to do front post, back post in these. Front post. Back post. Back post. And front post. Front post. Back post. Front post. All right. One more set. Front post. Back post. Front post. And just like we did here, we're going to mirror it with 2 more here. Like that. Now we're going to do a regular set here. It is so hard to keep my hands where they belong. One, two, three. And chain 1, 2, 3, and turn. Okay. Now on this side you're going to be working on, you see only the front posts. We'll be doing the back posts in each back post and a front post in each front post. Okay. You see that? Alrighty, we'll start as normal. This is round 7. This will be our second and our alternate way of treating this particular part of the pattern. We are going to do 3 double crochets in the first set. Last time we did 2, this time we do 3. And now we come over here to the back stitch. We skip these 2. This is the 2 we did before. We come over here to the back post, and we're going to do a back post in it. We come over to the front post, and we do a front post. Come into the back post, and do a back post. It's so much easier when they're already posted, isn't it? I love that. No problem. It's just sticking out there so nice. Back post, front post, back post. Here we go again. Back post. Okay. You see you got your 3 front posts here, so you know you finished your 3 clusters. You have your 2 here. We're going to go 3 right in between this 2 and the ends, the corners. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to do a usual corner set. The corner sets also remain the same throughout the whole shawl. So you'll have this 1 corner cluster running down the back center of the shawl. So you'll be running down the back all the way. And we come over here, and because this row we're doing 3, and we did 3, we're going to do 3 on this side too. So we do a set of 3. And then we're going to come over here. We've got our back post, front post, back post. Go right into our back post. Whoops. Come into our front post. Into the back post. Makes it so simple. And front. And back. We have one more set on this edge. A back. And a front. And a back. Whoops. Okay. We skip over here and we do a set of 3 double crochets. And one more in the end between the end stitch and the last cluster. And 1, 2, 3. Two stitches. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Now, you may not be able to see it yet, but we are getting our first start on a slight turn here. And we've got our heavy textured area established. Now that we've turned it, we've got 2 front posts in each set and 1 back post in each set. But this time we are going to add sets onto it. So we'll put a regular cluster in the edge. Like normal. Last row we did a 3. This row we do 2. So it's going to be 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Okay? So we did 2 here. We did 3 the last row. We're going to do 2 this row. So we do 2 double crochets. If you get lost, just look what you did the last row. Now, every time you are on this side, you are going to have the 2 ends of each cluster be front posts. So every time you have your 3 cluster to do, you just go ahead and start with your front post, back post, front post. Sneak up in here. There we go. We got our back post and our front post. Just need to go front, back, front, right across to the end. Here's the cluster of 3. Hasn't been front posted or back posted. And we're going to do it just like the first one. So front post. Come up behind to the back post. And then front into the front post. And then we're going to do 2 double crochets. So we did 2 here, did our front and back posts, did 2 here, and now we're going to do a regular corner group. And we're going to mirror the other side just the way we did the last side. So we're going to do two double crochets here. And in this first group here, and this last group here, we're going to do the same posting we're doing in the middle. So wrap, do a front post, double, wrap, oops, and do a back post double, and front post. And just go ahead and mirror that across. Here's our last set. Do a front post. Up and sneak down. Do a back post. Come up, do a front post. Do 2 double crochets. And then do our inset and our last stitch. And 1, 2, 3. And chain 3. There we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows now. Okay. This is going to be the outside of the shawl. This side will be the inside of the shawl. When you finish the heavily textured section, these will continue all the way down to the end of the shawl. You'll have the single top stitches all the way, post stitch. Okay, this is starting the 9th row. Not sure if I missed that. I want to go back and do it again. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Edge cut, edge set as usual. Now, we did 2 in the last row. We're going to do 2. We're going to do 3 now. And in every edge from now on, we'll be adding 3. We're going to make this turn a little bit more sharply. Now we skip these 2, and we do the front and back post across, just like we did before. Just like that. We're going to do it across to the last set here. So we're now doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets. Okay, I finished this cluster. I've got the 2 cluster here. I'm going to pass right over it, and I want to do a 3 cluster, a 3 set. And a corner group. Okay, back over here for a 3 set. We did 3 set on this side. We do 3 set on this side. Whoops. Double criss. We have to wrap first. Good girl. Okay. Now we skip the 2 set, and we do our front and back posts across. Now we skip the 2, and we do a full set of 3 double crochets. And our inset and our end stitch. We got 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Get in there. Little dweeb. There we go. And chain 1, 2, 3, and turn. All right. Now, we want this to turn We want this to turn more this time for a while. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a new set in here every time before we start doing our front post, back post. If we did that with the middle, we'd end up with a buckle or a hump. So what we're going to do in the back is just like we did down here. We did 2 and then 3. We're going to keep doing that 2, 3, 2, 3 until the very end of the shawl. That will be how the center will be treated. We'll have our center corner cluster, and we'll either have 2 or 3 each time all the way down. Okay? So remember that part. For a little while, we're going to have 3 in front every time. But the back is going to be treated the way we did this here. Back here we had 2 and 3 and 2 and 3, and we're going to keep doing that all the way up. Okay? All right, heads up. We are now on row 10. So, do our edge cluster. We do our 3 between here. You'll really see a turn now. And then we're going to do front post, back post, front post. Front post, back post, front post. Alrighty then. You do that onto the middle. In the middle, we did 3 stitches last time, so you're going to do 2 before the corner. Do 2 on the other side of the corner. And then starting here, do your front post, back post, front post, all the way down to the end. Okay? Okay. One more time in the middle with you. We do front post, back post, and front post. Now we did 2 here on the last row. So we're going to do 3 on this row. Wait, 2 on that row, 3 on that row. We're going to do 2 on this row. Do a corner group. And 2 here. Did 3 here, so we're going to do 2 here. And then front post, back post, front post. And then just follow the post down until you get to the last cluster. And we do front post, back post, front post. And I'll meet you there. Okay, we're at the last cluster before the edge. We do our front, back. Ah, sure have trouble with those back clusters, don't I? There we go. Back posts, I should say. And front. And we're going to do 3 again. 2 and 3. And then our last cluster on the edge. And 1, 2, 3. Get in there. All right. 1, 2, 3, and turn. All right. Now, if you look, you can see we're starting to get more of a curve in here. See there? Because we were adding 3 stitches on each end each time. We're adding 3 stitches, and instead of skipping over stitches and doing the next corner like we would in a granny, we're doing on top of the clusters. So we're adding a full one every time. And that's going to get us a nice neck curve. Okay? So this is line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we have a really well-established neck curve here. Alrighty. Next step, 11. Now, whoops. Here we go again. Edge cluster. And 3. Skip over and do 3. And now, if you look here, we have the front post in the centers. You've been doing front posts to start off these 3. But now that you've got this going every line, you're going to have the center post be the front post half the time. So I'm going to sneak around here and pull a back loop. And a front loop. And a back loop. And after that, it's easy. You're following the front posts and the back posts from now on. Just like that. So you go on down here to the middle, and I'll meet you there. Okay, so on row 11, we're going to make 3 double crochets back here, because the last row we made 2. See, here's the 2. Before that, here's the 3. Before that, here's the 2, 3, 2, all the way up. So we made 3, make the corner cluster, corner set, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Mirror the other side with a set of 3. 3 double crochets. Skip these 2 right here. Do your front and back post all the way across to here. Do your front and back post in the end here. How did I do that? Yeah, do your front and back post in the end here. Do your 3 double crochets here and your inset. Okay. All the way to the end of this shawl, on every even row, you'll be doing 2 stitches in the space next to the corners. On every odd row, you'll do 3 on every space next to the corners. That's all the way to the end except for the final trim. Okay? And we'll come back here. Meet me back here for 18. We got another change up, okay? As you can see, we pretty much got all the curve that we need. So we're going to start going straight again. So meet me at 18 and I'll show you how we're going to do that. On 18, you start the row like we usually do with the inset. But we're going to, in this space right here, we're going to do 2 double crochets. And then go to the sets like we did before. And as you can see, I still very carefully check out what set I'm doing, because if I don't, I can get lost. This is a set, this is a set. On even rows, we're doing back posts in the center. Okay, there's a new set. Here's the last set from the one below. Double crochet, back post, double crochet, and we do this across with each set. Double, back post, and double. Double, back post, and double. When we get down to the center, we'll be doing 2 double crochets on each side of the corner. That's just like we did back up here before while we were still doing the inside posts. We're going back to doing alternate on the edges like we do in the center. So you can see on the last row, on row 17, we had the 3 double crochets. 18, it'll be the 2 and the 2. And that's why we were doing 2 in front. We mirror whatever's going on in the corner. So if you can't remember, check your corner and you'll know what you're doing in the front, okay? On the edges. On the end, the same way. 2 double crochets here, and then do your inset and your end stitch. Row 19, here's our edge set. We did 2 double crochets in the last row in row 18. This row we do 3. So we do 1, 2, 3 double crochets. We don't do anything in these 2. Here's our first set. We do our double crochet, front post. It's an odd number, so the front post face you, and double. Next set, double, front post, and double. All the way down to the center, just like before. Row 18 we did 2, row 19 we do 3. Anytime you get mixed up, look on your center and you'll be able to tell what you're supposed to do on the edge. Okay? So on row 19 and 21, we'll do it this way with the 3 double crochets here. Skip the 2 from the row below. That's these 2 here. And then do your next set. Always look for your sets, you won't get lost, okay? So I'll see you back here. You do 18, 20, and 22. You do 19 and 21, and come back here and I'll meet you at 23. Okay, this is to row 22. We have the back, the gentle curve, the stronger curve coming around the neck, coming down the front center of the chest. Hold on a second. There. Now that we've reached here, we're going to make a turn down. This is row 22. Now I had originally told you to go ahead and make through to 22, and we would change direction on 23. But we need an even numbered row to make our turn. So you either go ahead another row to 24 or you back up to 22. And I chose to back up to 22. So you make your usual set, just like this. Let me come in a little closer here. Okay, now normally we've been making either 2 or 3 in this stitch here. We're not going to do that. All we're going to do is come directly over to this one, do our double crochet, and in this case our back post, because we're on even rows and that's when the centers are back posts, and double crochet. Do another little set here, and back. And you can see instead of going like this, now it's turning down here. Just like that. Okay. Now everything else along this is the same, except when you come to the very end, you're going to go from here, instead of putting anything here, you're going to go from here with your front and back post directly into your end post, and that'll turn this one in. Okay? All right. I'll return. Here I'm doing row 23, and I'm doing the same thing in 23 I did in 22. See how each of these up here is offset? You have a row coming out, and then you have a row of 2 stitches, a row coming out, a row of 2 stitches. On this one you have the row coming down, and it'll remain coming down the edge, just like on this one, on the pink one I did previously. Okay, you have the same thing. It will come down and it'll go straight. That's how this one comes down and it goes straight. Now if you want it to grow more this way, if you want it to come down, start like this, and then grow out more this way, you have to go back to the earlier one where you were adding 2, 3, 2, 3 all the way down for the straight. That's what you want to do here. It'll make it flare out more. But you'll have a turn down where the neck can meet and where you can put a button or some sort of a keeper in. For the pink one, I made a button, crocheted a button with a streamer and fixed it so that it could be buttoned in like this and hold it together. And it'll fall fairly straight. If you wanted to, if you turn this back into straight sides, it'll overlap like this because it'll go wider. And when you spread your arms a little bit, it'll come out like this. So it depends on the width of the person that you're making it for and how you want to wear it, okay? So from now on, you just need to go back and forth evenly, either straight sides all the way to the bottom or keeping the turn down. The turn down will keep it going straight. And go down to row 38. Check the length ever so often, ever about 36, 37, 38. See if you need it longer or shorter, if you want it to come down over your elbows and your forearms, or whether you want it to stop above it. Up to you. When you stop, do stop on an even row, because the even rows will be facing inside. You'll be facing inside when you do the even. And that means when you turn it over, your finishing row will be on top, facing the right way. And you'll get a better finish on your top row. Okay? So, row 23, on to the end of your project. You're either going to do straight or beginning with, I would do 2 rows on the turn. Beginning with number 24, go back to the straight. Either keep the turn down for the rest of the way or go back to the straight. It's up to you. Okay? So, I will see you at the end and we will work out a border. Bye-bye. Now this was a surprise to me because the pink one that I made, I used a 14-ounce ball of Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo, and I had some left over. About a fourth of it, I guess. This is white Super Heart Jumbo Super Saver. I'll get that right in a minute. White, soft white, Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo, 14 ounce. And I'm about a third along my last side, and I ran out. Fortunately, I do have a partial one, probably around half of the same yarn, so I will be able to continue. But I figured it'd be a good time to show you what to do when you're adding yarn on and you have this type of interrupted situation with the posts, because you'll have a stitch that's not covered and you can't have your yarn going over that. So I stopped when I had 2 stitches on my hook, just like you would if you were going to change color. And take a nice long stream here. Pull that through there just like I'm doing a color change. See there? Now I have these 2 legs sticking down here. My next stitch is a regular double crochet, so I'm going to do that. And then the next stitch is a back post, so I'm going to go through the top and I'm going to pull these 2 stitches up, and then I'm going to pull them down through the next one. Now I'm going to wrap and do my back post. And I'm going to do my regular double. and my regular double. And at this point I can either take my needle and go back through this way, or I can do this again. So I'm going to go through here to the front, pull my 2 threads back. I'm going to pull them from the back to the front, or you can pull them around again. There's no real big way to do it. Or I could leave them hanging and sew them in. But this kind of gets rid of them as you go, and it doesn't really make that big of a mess. Checking out the tension. Okay, tension seems to be okay. Now we do a back post again. And go through the next stitch and over these 2 tails. And through the next stitch and over the 2 tails. And at this point I think we can forget it. I'll come back with the needle and I'll just push them through that way, 1 or 2 stitches, and it will lock them in good. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off this row 38, and I'll meet you at the end because both ends are going to be treated a little bit different. Okay? See you back. Are you ready to do row 39 with me? Okay. I finished my last set and my last end set, my last end stitch. I'm going to chain 2 and turn. Now you have these 3 stitches that we did in the last set. In the first one, we're going to do a single crochet. Then in the first of the next set, we're going to do 2 double crochets. And that gives us a nice corner turn. It takes advantage of the down sloping one and turns it into part of our end. See there? Turns into part of our corner turn. Now all you need to do until you get to the other end is double crochet in every crochet. No more front post or back post. Straight double crochet across. Alright. And this is row 39. Okay, I'll see you at the end. Actually, I'll see you at the corner. We got to turn the corner down there. So I'll be with you to do that. And then we'll go on to the end. Okay. At the corner. And all we're going to do for the corner is we're going to put 5 double crochets in this 3 chain space. And I'll make it turn real nice. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Whoops, 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 whoops. There we go. See? Real nice smooth turn. And then when you come back over here and start your double crochet line, it doesn't cup, it doesn't bunch. It works just right. Okay. All right, now I will meet you at the other end. At the end of 39, this is the last stitch of the last set, and we're going to do 2 double crochets in it. Now we're going to come up here to the very first crochet of our end set, and we're going to do a single. It's starting to sound familiar. It's kind of like a mirror of what we started out with. But instead of doing a chain 2 here, we're going to do a double crochet in this 3rd chain, but we want to pull this down nice and tight. the stitch on our hook, we want to pull it down nice and tight. So I'm going to hold it with my finger. I'm going to do that double. Mess with a little bit, make sure it's going to be okay. Now I already cut my line. I'm going to bring this down here. It's nice and tight. Okay. And I'm going to use a needle. I don't want that one. I want that one. And I also want my glasses. Okay. I don't need you that long. There we go. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this, because it sticks out a little bit, and I'm going to come right down to here, put it through the back. Pull it down, pull it down. There, see? Can't see where it was sticking up. That's it right there. Now I'll turn over on this side. Around here. Oh, you just want to make me mad, don't you? There we go. Pull you out. And then come back through here once more. There we are. Okay. Now, I went in and tried this on my mom because she's a lot closer to her girlfriend's size than I am. And I won't have to add a collar. Her girlfriend wanted a collar because she wanted it up by the back of her neck. This now goes high enough. It goes high, and that's why I needed to use more yarn than I initially thought I would. So, I want to show you something here. Once more, there we go. See how long the tail is? This looks really nice flowing down the back. It really does. It looks nice flowing down the back. It's long and narrowing, slenderizing too, and it doesn't make you look like you got cut off and back. If we didn't add the other 2, 3, 2, 3 all the way down, it would be more like this. More of a 90-degree angle. This is, as you can see, by the time we get down here, it's more like a 60-degree, maybe even 45. That looks so nice. And all that's left to do on this, and I will do that next, is make buttons. These are the buttons I made for the pink one. The lighting has been so friendly to this white yarn, and all of a sudden today it just does not want to work properly. Don't understand. We're going to make our 2 little crocheted buttons. And you want a good sized tail because you're going to crochet with it. At least 7 inches long, and it will be longer once we tighten the magic circle. That part is inevitable. Make it just like you did when we started the shawl. Okay. Chain 1. And we're going to do 10 single crochets in a circle. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Make sure they look even. This is going to be your circle, so you don't want some tight and some loose. Now the reason why I use magic circle, especially on the buttons, you really need it on the buttons because you don't want a hole in the middle of your button. Trust me. You want this tight enough that you can see absolutely no hole at all in the middle. Want a nice solid thick button. You pull the tail. Got a nice long sewing tail. Now all we do is we come over here to our first stitch and we're going to slip stitch, chain 1, and we're going to slip stitch around. Oh, let me pull some thread out here. Okay. 2, 3, 9, and here's back at our beginning. 10. All right. Now, I'm going to cut off this end. You want to pull this, we don't want a big knot on the end, so we just want to pull this in until it comes through to the back. And we're going to take and we're going to hide this on the underside. Okay, now, right up here where it's coming out, we go down through and pull it to the back. Okay? And back here we want to secure it by going down in here into the middle. Nice and tight in there. You don't have to worry about it coming loose. So go halfway around at least. You can go around more if you want to, but you don't really need to. Okay, that's your first button with your long tether on the back. Now do that again. One more time, and the second time you don't need a long tether. We'll cut both of them off. Okay? Okay, I've made a second one, and I've cut both the tether and the the end off. These are about, they're just a tiny bit over 1 inch in diameter. And if I'm reading this right, it's about 28 millimeters, 28 millimeters across. Okay, I'm not really good on the centimilli. Okay, now, what I've done with my original with the long tail is I put my needle on the end of it. I'm going to be using both my needle and my crochet hook. So if it'll stay on, I'm going to leave the needle on. The first thing I want to do is come around back And I've done everything I can for this lighting. It just does not want to cooperate. So hopefully it'll be good enough you can follow me. Now I'm just putting this through any stitch across the hole. And all I want to do is establish a spot to put my crochet hook and start chaining. Okay? So I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and this will make it so that the middle comes about to the middle of the other one, and that's what you want. You want them kind of touching when their tether's done. Okay, so I chained 4, so I'm going to take my needle again, and I'm going to come over here to the back of this one, and grab 1 or 2 threads in back of here, and slip stitch. Okay. Now I'm going to go across the hole from it, grab some chain over here, and you understand what I just did? I slip stitched to this side of it, and I went over and I stuck my needle through the other side, so I have 2 places to control my chain from, and I pull the loop through that. And I'm going to go back on my chain, and I'm going to make 4 slip stitches on it. 1, 2, 3, and the last one, 4. Okay. That's what I want. I'm not really happy with it being where it is. I want it more over here, so I will correct that now. I'm going to pull this tight. And I'm going to go across over here and anchor it again. Now I'm happier with that, so I'm going to knot it. I'm finally getting this right, and I get another annoying commercial call. Okay, I'm just going to go through. Give it a nice knot. I'm going to go around like I did before. It's nice when the needle stays on your yarn and you can just keep going back and forth instead of putting it back on again. I like that. Now, am I happy with it? I think so. Okay. I think I went out of sight when I did that, and considering I have done this 6 times, I'm going to leave it stand. I hope you don't mind. Now, Just back off. Okay. You take one button, and here's your corner. You can do it right here, or you can do it in here. Do it right here. Inside the outside set. Okay, there's one button. There's my other corner. There we are. Okay, that's our connection. Happy crocheting, guys. I do hope you enjoyed this. I hope that whoever you make this for will enjoy it. And have a wonderful year, guys. Bye-bye.